All right, y'all. We're back again. Another episode. This one's going to be called Random Talks. I'm going to talk about a book I've read, and then Britt and I are going to review other things. But yeah, have y'all read this shit? The Dragon
Nope,
Bride?
not me.
The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. Okay. I bought this off TikTok shop, right? My sister loves Sleeping Beauty, loves Aurora. Okay. So the character's name is Briar Rose. It's supposed to be loosely based. When I say loosely, I mean it's loose. So basically, the character, it's in modern times. Her husband is physically, mentally abusive. So she makes a deal with a demon to get away from her husband because she tried to escape him. He found her, beat her almost to the brink of death. So she makes a deal with the demon. And the demon's like, okay, so here's the contract. You're going to stay with, you're going to come to this realm for 7 years. You're going to be auctioned off. A demon will buy you. You are going to be married to that demon for 7 years. After 7 years, you get to go back to the human world and boom. And in exchange, he kills her husband. Win-win, right? She makes the deal because she's like, well, what the hell do I have to lose, right? Like, I there's nothing to lose. Like, my husband almost beat me to death, and I need to get out. And what, 7 years, right? So she goes. Her and a few other human women are at an auction, and it's like not even a real auction. And it's just like this demon goes, oh, I want this one. Oh, I want this one. Oh, I want this one. Oh, I want this one, right? So she gets paired up with a dragon, obviously, the Dragon's Bride. He's got a humanoid body, a tail, and a dragon's head. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm picturing that, and
it's very hard to picture. Yes, it's very hard to picture. So basically, he's got a big talking reptilian head, but a human male body because he's actually part human. So the dragon's bred with humans.
All I want to think about is the Geico commercial with a human body in the middle.
Pretty much, yeah. So basically, because I guess like dragons and humans had bred a long time ago, and so most of the dragon race has like humanoid bodies, but dragon heads and tails, and they're different colors. So this one's green, there's purple and blue and whatever, right? So she gets to his world, his realm. She's scared at first and everything, and he's being very nice. He's very gentle. He's very polite with her. When I say by day like 3 or 5, like they're doing the nasty, I'm like, wait, what? Okay, dude's got 2 penises. 2. Okay, you're like, what? Okay, and just like every other romance author, the penis is just so big it barely fits. So imagine him having 2. Okay, so you're thinking, okay, this author is going to go down DP. Double in the hoo-ha.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
One in one hole, one in the other. No, that's not anatomically correct. He can't do that. Okay, y'all, if you have kids, please mute. It gets very vulgar. So, as the dragon is doing his bride, doggy style, he decides to penetrate her butthole with his tail, the tip of his tail. I shit you not. I was like, it was so hard reading this book without cracking up the whole time. Long story short, they fall in love. He wants to have a kid. She says, okay. She doesn't have to go back in 7 years. They live happily ever after, and she has a kid. But I could not get over it. The 2 dicks and the butt penetration with the tip of his tail. That sent me over the edge. I was like, what the fuck did I just buy and read? I think my sister will enjoy it because she likes these type of books. Me, not so much. I had no idea it was a smut book when I bought it. If I did, I would not have bought it. It was very vulgar, but I will say it was entertaining because I was like, where are we getting into with this? And this author, okay. She has other books, like one with the Kraken, like all these different creatures.
You almost have to read that one too to see if it has two.
You know
Or
what?
three.
If it's on Kindle Unlimited, I will. If not, I'm sorry, Katie Roberts, you're never getting another penny from me because this stuff's just too, it's too out there. But it's, oh my gosh, I just had to tell you about that book. It was the most ridiculous. Like, A Ruin of Roses was like a 5-star compared to this shit. And you
and
know
that's
my thoughts
saying a
on them.
lot. That is
Yeah,
saying a lot.
because at least A Ruin of Roses had a wonderful plot. So minus the obscene amount of like graphic stuff in that series, the
I
story
didn't finish
was great. The plot, yeah, the plot and the storyline itself was great. I'm just not a fan of super smut books. Like, I'm not a Haunting Adeline chick. I haven't even read that book because people who love smut say even that is so much. So I haven't read it. I don't want to read it. Like, that's not mine. I don't mind romance in my books, and I don't mind sex here and there, but when it's like the whole book, just give me porn. Like, why do I have to read it? Can I just watch it? Like,
especially when it gets weird. Like there's a difference.
Well, and that's the thing.
It's just weird.
It was weird. Like, this was weird. I'm sorry. Like, there's another book I read, which we'll talk about if you read it, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I actually did like that book. I thought it was really great. I think you would enjoy it.
Okay.
It's a romantic-y kind of, but it's in a world where there's humans, werewolves, and vampires. They all know about each other. They each have their own territories. But vampires are not made by biting, and neither are werewolves. Like, humans basically mutated, and some mutated to be vampires and some mutated to be werewolves. So her concept, really great. Vampires do not live in a limited amount of time. They just live a little bit longer than humans. Like, same as werewolves. Like, there's no like supernatural. It's just there was
immortality kind of
situation. It was just genetic mutation, which made the vampire werewolf breed, which I thought freaking amazing. I loved her idea. So read that book. It's called Bride. It's basically a vampire is forced to marry a werewolf alpha. So, and humans, vampires, and werewolves, none of them get along with one another. So I'll just leave it at that. Great book. Read it. Once you finish reading it, we'll talk about it because it was good. So the other thing that I wanted to dive into with you is, so I'm on TikTok, right? And I'm scrolling a lot, and I see a lot of these, like, and I'm going to say ads, right? They're ads, and it's like of a storyline. A lot of them are like wolf alpha or mafia, like, oh, my mate rejected me, but then I turned around and I have a second mate, and oh my God, now both mates want me, the one who rejected me and the new one. Whatever will I do? Like, I mean, I cannot tell you how many I see of that. It's just too funny. And I see people like, oh my God, could I buy this book? Y'all, do not pay for those on those apps. Period. Point blank. You will be spending over $100 to read a poorly written book. Now, the story idea is great. Like, I read one, the story
to a certain extent.
No, I actually read one. The story was great. It's just, you could tell this lady she's not a trained author, right? She's very, new. Like, this might be her first thing she's ever written. And so her grammar was lacking. There were definitely errors and things like that. But out of a lot of the ones on those apps, this one actually had a really good flow. She just had some minor things that I think if she had an editor,
Which one was that on, though?
Oh, so here's the thing. I saw it on an ad. I use this thing called Google. I Googled the name, and I found the book that somebody posted online for free. So there are websites that will go and they'll post the chapters for free. So instead of paying for them, you can find it for free most of the time. I would say 98% of the time you can find those books online for free. But
Yeah, because
definitely
I know a
don't.
lot of them are like, here, buy this membership. And so it's like, why buy a membership to subpar writing?
Right? If I'm going to pay a membership, I'm paying $12 a month for Kindle Unlimited, and I get thousands of
Right,
books of great quality, right? Like they've been edited,
right.
there's no errors. They may not be the best stories, but at least, you could sit through them. So yeah, I've been reading some of these ones just for kicks and or shits and giggles as I come across them. One I thought was very good. I know I told you about it, about the girl who, when she was 18, and she
Oh, the
got
boyfriend of the sister, and then yeah.
yeah, it was actually not a bad story. It was not a bad story. I was like, okay, it pulled me in. It was good. It wasn't the worst written one either that I've seen on there, because there was, oh no, wait, sorry, the one I read, it was really good. It was a different one with the sister and the husband. The one that I found two. Okay, guys, there's multiple apps, and it's essentially, I would say about probably 90% of the book is the same. It's just they've changed the characters' names and they've changed them plot. Both of them are the same way. The mate rejects them. Then an alpha from another territory comes and sees them and is like, "Mate, you're my mate. You're my mate." And so then she's like, "Oh, yay! I've been neglected my whole life and I've been treated like shit. And now I have a mate who wants me, And then the mate who rejected her and treated her like shit then wants her. And so then she's having to like figure out and court both of them, and she can decide who she wants. One of them,
Maybe she wants both.
okay. So one of them, I skipped to the end just to see. I was like, I gotta see how this ends. I'm not gonna read this whole thing because it was so poorly written. It was like, I go to the bathroom, I sit on toilet, I wipe my butt, I washed my hands. Like that was the flow. It was so bad.
Oh
I read,
gosh,
I go to
that
the
I
end.
can't do that.
Yeah, and that's on these apps, you guys. That's what's on these apps. Like some of these writers are just piss poor writers. They're people who have an idea and they're really horrible putting pen to paper, essentially. I have great ideas, but you ain't gonna see me putting pen to paper because I'm not a writer. So, but yeah, so basically to skip to the end of this book, you find out she's pregnant with twins. And you're like, okay, so which guy did she choose? Oh, she chose both. Oh, and each baby is from one of the guys. So baby A belongs to guy A, baby B belongs to guy B. What the hell did I'm glad I didn't read that whole book because that is the
That's the
dumbest thing
same thing.
ever.
Remember the one that I told you that I came across too on one of those apps just to kind of see what they had, and it was um, she shows up at home, and this guy who has been stalking her was like some millionaire or something like that, and he just wanted a baby, but he didn't want a baby from anybody. He wanted a contract baby, and he shows up at her apartment with this offer she couldn't refuse, and she said, "Well, I can't pass that up." They go to the bathroom, bedroom, whatever. I can't remember what it was. Signed a contract. Boom, she's pregnant right then. She goes to work and she's like not even 5 months pregnant or something like that. It was like a month or two, and she was like working in a concession stand at a movie theater, and this kid was being a douchebag, and she called him out, and he said, "Who are you to say something? You're just you're just pregnant and stuff." And she was like about how her baby bump was showing and everything. I was like, who the hell's freaking baby bump shows at like a month or two? What?
Nobody.
And then she was
Literally.
talking about, I felt the baby flutter. You ain't gonna feel baby cake. And she's like, does nobody have any concept of how things work? Like, who's writing this crap? Like, I don't get it.
Like, okay. And number one, your picture, it must be raining crazy there because your picture and sound quality is kind of getting a little crazy. But so y'all don't mind Rich. There's a storm where she lives and it's affecting the internet. But okay, you and I have both had kids. So I've had one, you've had two. We both know you do not feel the baby move, especially before 3 months. 4 or 5, you maybe start to feel the kick. It's really after 5-6 months that the little sucker is going crazy, right? But
Mm-hmm.
usually you don't feel anything before 12 weeks. So, and even then, if you do, it's just a slight odd feeling. It's not like you feel the kid moving around like they're 8, 9 months in your womb and they're kicking. It's completely a different feeling.
Yeah.
Like, and then I know I started showing around like 10, 12 weeks. Like I just looked bloated. I didn't have an actual pregnant belly until
You need to get it.
sorry, I didn't have an actual like pregnant belly until I was 4 months, where you can see, okay, yeah, she doesn't look like bloated. And then 6 months, like, okay, yeah, ooh, or no, sorry, 5 months, she's pregnant. But yeah, some of these authors on these books are just, it makes no sense unless you're writing it as like it's a different creature, like that would be different. But if you're writing as a human, and we both know damn well you do not see a baby at a month, like it's just crazy. Sorry, Brit's had to step away for a second, and she's coming back. So, but but those apps are just freaking ridiculous, and I see those ads all the time. And sometimes like I'll read what it's about, and then if I can find it online and read it for free, I'll check it out, like the first couple chapters, just to get a feel. One of them I'm on, the book's not completed. I'm caught up with it until they add more books to it, because I'm not paying for it on an app. And it's not a bad story. But I will say this, the author drives me nuts. Is the alpha guy has picked his mate, who's now his Luna, but in every sentence this man speaks since he's chosen his mate is baby. Oh, it's okay, baby. Oh, come over here, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Ick. Why? Why does, like, no. I'm sorry,
No.
but that is one of my ick words, is baby. Like, it's also like a woman.
And daddy. Like, oh, somebody's got daddy issues.
Freaking hate it. Stop, authors. Stop writing like, ooh, daddy. Wait, no.
And maybe that's for some people, but for me, that's like a no.
Yeah.
No.
No. I mean, okay, it might be for some people in their personal lives, but in a book, like, you're trying to like appease to the masses. Stop putting in these really cringy cliches. Okay, the baby, no, it would be okay if it's every once in a while. When I say literally every sentence that male character speaks to his mate, he says baby once, if not twice, in every.
Or when they have to sit there and say, reiterate what their circumstance is. I was this happened to me, I am this now. We got that. Move on. Create a better dialogue.
Yeah.
It's just, we know this is annoying, and I don't need to know. I woke up. It took me 2 minutes to open my eyes. I moved my leg to get out of the bed. Like, nobody cares. There's details, and then there's
Fluff.
details.
Yeah. AKA fluff. With some of these stories, like the one thing that is I'm finding very ick and cringe is a lot of these main female characters are 16 to 20. 16 and 20. Can we please get the fuck out of this like age
Or
range?
when they find their mate when they're like 9 years old and they have to wait till they're 16, or when they shift whichever or something. I'm like, why would you write like this? Why?
Yeah. Well,
Why?
I'm just like, okay, this is like, know your target audience. Okay, most of the people buying your books are not 16 to 20 years old. Let's just get that out there into the world right now. Most of the women buying your book are 25 plus. Like, can you at least like do 25 as a base minimum? Like, I'm sorry, 18 years old, 16. Like, there was a book I was going to get for a while. It was about Briar Rose, but she's 16 and she gets raped. I'm like, okay, why would I read that? Like, that is just disgusting. Like, why would I do that? And this is by a very famous author. So I was like, wow. But I just really want to beg authors to please up the age, because most of the women reading your books are 30 plus. Like, you will have some in their mid to late 20s, but most of them are 30 plus. And you know what? 18 years old, I was not thinking about marriage and kids.
You don't want to say a younger reader is reading, you don't want them to think that type of behavior is like normalized, right? Which I'm not saying that they would think that, but why would
Well, most, and we know this from personal experience, you're just not mature enough. You're
no?
not mature enough to understand it. So it's like at our age, like we've been through that. We knew you and I were crazy 18 all the way to like 24, 22,
Yep.
24, you know? And so when I read these books, like they're 18, they just found their mate and then they're already starting a family. Like, this isn't like the 1950s, y'all. Can we please like progress past this? Women nowadays on average are starting families in their 30s. Can we please have a main character that's not that young? So that is
Yeah.
also why I liked Bride, is the main character was not an 18 to 20-year-old.
Yeah.
She was older. I mean, she wasn't in her 30s, 40s. I think she was like 26 or 29, but more of a realistic age, you know? And I'm like, okay, you know what? I could get that. This is someone who's probably a little bit more mature. I mean, this is the whole like, and I love Aquatar series, but with the whole Fibra thing, let's be fucking for real. Like 18 years
Yeah.
old, like, and she's as wise as these people who are like 600. Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense.
Well, and there's this other writer too. I haven't really read any of her books, but I've kind of read what people have wrote about her, and I think she's on one of these apps. I don't really know, but I think it's like Hyper Winters, something Winters. I don't know. Starts at P Winters, whatever it is. She
Yeah.
writes a lot of her books are based off of women who were trafficked and then ends up falling for the guy or something like that that trafficked her. And it gets really graphic. And I was reading on, on these comments where they were talking about people who commented on the chapters of the book where she had met the guy that bought her, and it was like such a hot scene. I'm like, against her will, drugged, trafficked, and you're saying that this is hot?
Yeah. I just,
it makes you question, like, what is going in these people's heads? Like, and I understand that this isn't, when you think of trafficking, it's a very real thing.
yeah.
Why would you think that this is?
Well, that these authors, some of these authors are just out of touch with reality. And I'm sorry, like, I love fiction. I love things that take me out of reality. I don't want to read about stuff that actually happens and is traumatizing. Like, I just don't. Like, that's not enjoyable to me. Like, reading about women being sex trafficked is not enjoyable. It's not enjoyable. And if I ever pick up a book and it's like it, I'll literally throw it in the trash because I'm not going to. Like, But I want to take you back to
that kind of goes back to Haunting Adeline, with that you're saying you wouldn't read it, and some people are saying, oh yeah, it's a good book, you should read it. That's what I read. It kind of has those pieces of the trafficking aspect, and it's just real stalkery trafficking, kind of like weird.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm just not. I've heard it's very much out there, and I'm good. I'm good with the style I already got. But I do, before we end this, I want to circle back to The Dragon's Bride, and I want to read some of the funny reviews. So let's end this on a good note. Jacqueline Sobolski on Goodreads said 2 stars, 1 for each penis.
Oh my gosh.
That's
a good one.
So good. Someone said I went in for double eggplants, but this was surprisingly sweet. Because Saul, which is the guy, he's sweet. The dragon dude, he is sweet. Let me get some other funny ones because that one was so good.
Oh
surprisingly, out of 35,000 reviews, so yes, 35,000 people at minimum have read this book. It has 3.
What did they rate it?
Stars.
I see, and that's crazy to me because when you compare it to, say, To Kill a Shadow, and that, I'm like, what?
Matilda, a Goodreads, gives it 2 stars. -1 star for the lack of DP. What's the point of giving the hero 2 dicks and having him stick his tail in the heroine's ass if he didn't stick his dick in?
Oh my.
Oh
Oh my
man.
gosh. Nope.
Oh my gosh, these reviews. I'm just like, I want to see someone who genuinely, someone put, I am traumatized. I feel that Jada books. I want to find a good 5-star. Like, I want to see someone who really enjoyed this book. Someone gave it a 4.5, which they gave it a 5, but really theirs is a 5 point. They put 4 as a spice level. No, this was more than a 4. She says, I need the next book ASAP. This was so good. All caps. Okay. Let's see. Oh my gosh.
All right.
You know,
Well,
I just, oh my God.
nope, I'm not even gonna. Yeah, I got the.
I mean,
the gist
it's
from you. I'm good.
It's got 7,900 5 stars. Like, because it is considered a monster
I don't
romance.
know how. I don't know
So,
how.
like,
I don't
it's
know.
just,
That's not really my thing.
no, it's not my thing. You know, it's a very short book too. It's only 198 pages. So, like, what, like, basically they end up being F buddies and getting married at the end. Like that's a one, you know, type of thing. Because they go from, she's like sold him, becomes his bride, and then they're doing the nasty like really quick. I am just like, oh my God, like these reviews. I can't believe that this book has 7,900 5 stars and only 781 1 stars. Like, I wouldn't give it a 1 star. For me, a 1 star is like, could not finish the book. Like, I had to put it down. I did not finish. This one was a 2 star. Like, I will never read this again. I will not recommend it. I'm kind of like sad that I spent money on it. But besides the comedy factor, that's the only reason, like, I would say it was like, 3 stars is too generous. It's basically a tiny novella is what it is. It's a little novella. It's a little tiny book, but definitely not worth the money.
I don't be seeking me read.
I think I just spent like $10 on this book. This book is not even worth $5 with how short it is. Like, so
It should have been on the free list.
yeah. I mean, I'm almost, like I said, I'm almost tempted just to read her other ones to see if they're just as crazy. I'm trying to see what other one she has. Neon
It's gonna
Gods.
have a lion head with a fuzzy tail, or what?
Well, she's got Court of the Vampire Queen. Your dad will do.
Oh,
Wrong
with dad
bed,
issues.
right guy.
Okay.
Let's see. Where is the Kraken Sacrifice? That was the one. Let's see. And that's book number 2 in this series. It's like her monster series. Also in this is, oh my God, there's a lot of weird monster romance. I don't know what the hell's going on with these authors and monster romance, but you know what? To each their own. To each their own. Not my thing.
Yeah. No.
I'm definitely not gonna do it. Oh, The Gargoyles Captive.
I can only imagine where that went.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of her books, they're not really reaching 4 stars. They're like 3.5, 3. And you know what? Like, I know it's an average, so kind of makes sense. But just not my jam. But if y'all like really like vulgar, smutty stuff, Katie Roberts is your jam. If you like monster romance, definitely buy her books. If you like monster romance smut, Katie's your girl. Definitely not mine, but she could be yours. So yeah, so it was nice to catch up, Brett, and then kind of just do like some random book talk. we'll have to catch up in like a week or two, maybe 2 weeks. All right, y'all. So thank you for joining us in our little random talk episode, going over just weird stuff, funny stuff we find interesting. We will be back soon after reading another book. I've read Powerless, and I'm trying to get Britt to read Powerless. I've also read Bride.
I will
Bride.
probably get to that when I'm flying to Germany in a couple weeks, so I'll probably listen to that and read that on the way out there.
You will love it. It's definitely worth it. So spoiler alert, I love the book. So
Don't
all right,
tell me anything.
I won't.
Nothing.
I'm just gonna tell you it's a great it's a great story. So
I don't want to know what it's about. Nothing.
Oh, I'm not telling you anything.
Okay.
The only thing I'm telling you is Powerless.
All right.
That's all you need to know. All right, guys, catch us on the next episode. Bye.
All right. Bye.